Hi everyone! Hi guys! I am Rebecca from ChemKnits and I'm here today to do a little unraveling by hand. I haven't done that in a while, but this blank is so pretty that I really want to see the color progression, and that's really easy to do when you're unraveling it by hand. Because as I'm unraveling it onto the nitty naughty, I can sort of see the color progression on here, and I can spread it out and make it a little wider as I'm unraveling it versus when I use my automated skein winder, which granted will do it in about 30 seconds and it'll take me a lot longer to do it by hand. But I thought it would be fun to sit and chat with all of you while we look at this really pretty skein that I dyed. And it's a fun little sneak peek for an upcoming episode of Dye Pot Weekly. Some other notes. I'm using a PVC pipe nitty naughty that I made myself. This is a 2-foot nitty naughty, and if I had it with the edges sort of perpendicular to each other, then we would end up with an 8-foot skein. However, I don't want an 8-foot skein. So to unravel 2 at a time, I use it in this H configuration. So I can get a 4-foot skein by just wrapping the yarn around and around this nitty naughty, and it allows me to unravel one of the strands onto one side, one of the strands onto the other. Now, if you guys are new to sock blanks, the thing that makes these sock blanks so cool is that they're actually knit with 2 strands of yarn together. And so that way when you unravel it, you get 2 matched 50-gram skeins of yarn, which means that whatever random wild pattern that you use on your sock blank, you can end up with a matched pair of socks, or you can do a symmetrical shawl or something in the end. So that's why these double-stranded blanks are really cool. And if you want to pick up some blanks to use them yourself, my affiliate link is in the video description to Knit Picks. This is a Knit Picks blank. It is the Stroll blank, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and I love them. No, not all sock blanks are double-stranded. Certainly you can make them yourselves and make a single-stranded or double-stranded blank, but I know some other companies, all the Knit Picks ones are double-stranded, but some other companies do sell single-stranded blanks. They most frequently come as sock yarn, but I believe that like Wool to Die For might have some in sport weight. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that they do. But I've been using the Knit Picks ones myself, mainly because I'm very familiar with the yarn base, and so one of my favorite sock yarns to dye is there. One other note, I know we've got a lot of big ChemKnits fans that are joining in today, and I have some ChemKnits, official ChemKnits mugs, ChemKnits Creation mugs on Zazzle. There's both the logo design and a Broken Violet Knit DNA cable mug. Those are actually on Zazzle. They're having a 50% off sale right now, so you can get all the mugs for 50% off right now, which is awesome. So if you don't already have a mug and you want, or the ChemKnits diary, which I think that's only 15% off right now, but the coupon code splashed all over Zazzle. So if you want to pick up some merch, that is there. And I'm realizing that I cannot see any comments. Oh, awesome. I am probably going to pick up one of the heat changing ones myself. I have not tested those out, and I put them in the shop because I think one of you requested them. Yeah, I really want the huge one too. But I really like this one that has like the blue interior and handle. I thought that it matched the logo really nicely. I tried the black as well, and the blue just went better. I'm glad. No, this is a nice like 20 ounce. I don't remember. This isn't the huge one. There's a bigger one, but I like a good size mug. All right, let's start. Let's make sure I've got the right end. Yeah. Technically, you could unravel from either end, but one of them tends to stick more. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the nice thing about PVC pipe nitty knotties is that you can remove the ends. And I like to start by sticking the ends sort of inside and securing them with the other pieces of pipe. And I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see me, so I'll raise this up. But this sort of holds the yarn in position and helps me not lose the end. But I used to do this a lot, a lot, but more recently with my automated skein winder, I've been doing it a lot less on camera. Let's see. Oh, I should show you guys the wrong side of this blank too. Okay, so here's the right side of the blank, which is this sort of like wild rainbow. And here is the wrong side. Now, currently, obviously this video is not up yet because I need to unravel it to do the conclusion of that video, because I always try to show the finished dried yarn at the end. But if you do want to see how I dyed this, there is a sneak peek clip up available for ChemKnits patrons, and there's a link to the Patreon in the video description and iCard. You're just going to ask about the yarn or about the mug? All right, but I am going to start, just now that I've secured it, I sort of am holding my hand in between two strands, and we're just unraveling, and it really is this easy. Sometimes with some homemade blanks, I find that they can get a little bit twisted, but these actually work really, really well. Yes. No, this video will be coming, I'm not sure, probably in February. I don't remember when I've slated this one to come out. I haven't started editing it yet, but it, yeah, there is like a unedited clip that I put for the patrons that get access to the behind the scenes sneak peeks. All ChemKnits patrons on Patreon get early access to a new yarn dyeing video a month. And so that's anywhere starting from $1 a month contributions. But if starting at $5, you get access to some behind the scenes sneak peeks, which sometimes include unedited clips, but I always will do, each month I'll do a live stream while I'm filming or prepping or doing something for a Dye Pot Weekly episode to give you sort of another sneak peek and unedited, unfiltered view at what I am doing. Do you plan to do more with acid dye? Oh, absolutely. So this one I'll say is not acid dyes, although food coloring is technically an acid dye, but I know by acid dye you mean commercial acid dyes. I absolutely have a lot of plans to do stuff with commercial acid dyes, and I've been playing around with them a lot recently, including the January ChemKnits Dye Along. That was all featuring commercial acid dyes. And so I think that I really like playing with the commercial acid dyes. I don't always like, so I love dye powders, don't get me wrong, but I don't like, you know, right now I want to film a specific video and I'm like, oh, I have to make a dye stock. So with some of the liquid food colorings, since the stock solutions are already in solution, it's a lot easier to just go and mix it versus, you know, taking out the powders and the masks and stuff. So sometimes it's a reason why I might reach for the food coloring, but I love the colors and the results from commercial acid dyes so much. So there's definitely going to be a lot of it coming up. So you can see as I'm unraveling, I just sort of keep patting it towards the outside, and that's going to give us a sense of the way the color progressions happen. But you can already see the awesome speckling that we're getting just because of the way that these colors are on this blank. But it's funny because I've polled you guys a couple times about, you know, whether or not for videos and for the shop, if I should unravel the blanks or leave them intact. And it's sort of hard because I think that from a video perspective, I like to be able to show what the blank looks like unraveled. I think it makes it easier for people to picture what it might look like knit up. But from a shopper perspective, the intact blank is really, really cool. So I think that going forward, there might be some more blanks that I leave intact in my videos, but only when I think we can get an easy sense of what it might look like as a yarn already. Like for example, the Christmas special with the candy cane dyed yarn, it was pretty clear that that would be speckles of red and green with some other hints of red and green throughout. And so it was easy, at least for me, to picture what that might look like. Whereas this one is a little more wild, and so I felt a need to unravel it. But, you know, this process is actually really quick and really painless. I can do this with a lot of chatting. But certainly my new skein winder makes quick work of it, but things end up bunched and you don't get sort of the nice lines that you get here. And so I'm able to unravel it a little more ordered. And plus I haven't done this in a while, so you love the mystery of knitting from a blank, not knowing what you'll get. Yes, that is, I think, very, very, very fun, and one of the fun parts of it as well. So it's, yeah, that's one of the times, like with the blanks, where like there's the fun mystery of a really, really cool dyed blank that's really beautiful to look at. But it's like, that's one of the points where like being the Etsy shopkeeper doesn't always mesh well with doing the tutorials, because I think what people want, well, I know what people really want to see is a finished knit object at the end of every video, which I would really love to be able to do. It's just, then I would have a lot fewer videos. So I don't always have the time to be able to do that. I wish I could though. So, but it's funny how as like I'm going through this journey with my business and expanding, usually all the different facets of it sort of work well together. But then sometimes it's like, ooh, I have to make a choice. But usually when I have to make a choice, I make the choice for the videos. That's sort of what I consider to be my primary purpose. But a comment popped up and I can't see it. Videos would take forever and it would be really hard to do that. Yeah, it would be really cool to get a like legit sock knitting machine at some point. Certainly that would speed up the process. Yeah, the knitting machines that I have technically make tubes that are the right size for socks, but the stitches, like the gauge, if you're doing it with sock yarn, it would be like way, way, way too loose. It would be more like fishnet socks, which would not be very comfortable. So I wouldn't actually want to make socks on like the Singer knitting machines or something. Those are just good for making your own blanks. And so, as I said, you know, the link to the commercial double-stranded knit blanks are in the video description. But if you want to make your own blanks, I also have a lot of videos of that on the channel. So you can certainly make your own blanks yourself and dye them. I could start a new trend. Oh man. I mean, I suppose if I was going to wear more socks, fishnetty kind of socks would probably work pretty well for me. But that's a reason why I haven't knit very many socks, because I don't really wear socks. But Keith does, and so I'm going to try to get a pair. His birthday's in February, but I've realized I'm going to aim for Christmas, I think. Oh, maybe I've been wanting to do a t-shirt blanket for him that I like started planning years ago, but things just sometimes escape. Oh, I do need to make him a birthday shirt this year. Like, I need to make him, because he's going to be 35, I need to make him a 35 shirt. It'll be really cute, because the kids are 3 and 5, so then, like, it'll just be really adorable, and they can all wear the shirts from this year together. Which, the kids' shirts this year, in the past I would make the birthday kid a shirt, and I'd make the brother sort of like a brother shirt. But the 3-year-old wanted the same theme as the 5-year-old this year, so I made both of the shirts on the 5-year-old's birthday. Man, I should have brought the laptop in so I could see comments. Hi, welcome. Oh, I'm glad you like my videos. I really do have a lot of fun filming this and trying new things on camera or looking at little tweaks to old things. Like, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram and Facebook, but I am doing some snow dyeing right now. You might hear the hum of my space heater because I'm hoping that it'll melt. It's really a little bit more like ice dyeing today because the snow was really hard in these thick chunks. And I am hoping that it'll melt before the kids get home from school. Otherwise, it'll be a little interesting. But if it hasn't melted by the time the kids get home from school, then we'll get to hear Lucas get really excited because I am dyeing the yarn based on his design. So here's just another look at this really, really sort of wild colorway and how it feels a little less wild. There's definitely a gradient to it because, you know, there's a gradient to the colors, but the sort of pink that bled on the background is tying it together a bit, which I think is pretty fun. Oh man. I sort of missed doing this. When I did the sock blank special last year, I then had like an unraveling special where I think it took me a whole week to unravel. I think I did over 20 blanks. And that was something that I had not anticipated when I set out to do that. But, ooh, and on Patreon, actually, we're really close to a milestone goal. So you guys know how I did a sampler for Hanukkah. Well, I'm planning to do that again in 2019. I'd like to do another Hanukkah special, and I need to sort of think a little bit about how that's going to go together because I might start filming earlier in the year to sort of take some of the pressure off the fall season. But while thinking about that, there's a milestone that if we hit on the Patreon, then I'll do some kind of summer sampler special kind of thing. So I'll do, you know, a plan like a week at some point in the summer where, I don't know, maybe I'd do like five videos or so with different techniques. I don't know if it would be different yarn bases or all one yarn base, but I'd make a fun surprise sampler that people could unbox every day as like a fun summer surprise special kind of thing. And so that is something cool that is, and I think I'd probably make a poll and let the patrons help shape sort of how that sampler will come together. And so, but we're close to the milestone. So if you're an existing patron, share it, share the link with your friends. Or if you're not a patron, you should consider signing up. It really does, the patronage really does help me keep everything running and be able to keep up the production. Although I do dream someday of, so when I say like I'm Rebecca from ChemKnits, it's funny because I am ChemKnits. I'm the only, I joke like my family is certainly involved because like they live in the house where I store everything. But it would be really awesome someday to be able to bring someone else on board to help with, goodness, even help with some of the editing or help with live streams and stuff. So that's sort of a little dream. One other thing about unraveling the sock blanks. You can see that because we're unraveling something that has functionally been knit and blocked, it's very spaghetti-ish. So what I do is after I have unraveled the blank, I will soak it in water and let it dry. Oh goodness. Thought I was going to sneeze and then I think it passed. I will soak the blanks or the unraveled blanks in some tap water to help relax that twist. In the past, I used to let it dry like on the Nitty Nutty, but then I decided that might be a little too much tension. So there will still be a slight wave to it in the end, but it's way it's not likely to tangle or anything like that. So that is just sort of the finishing step that I do after, of course, I finish filming the video and showing off all these colors. But yeah, I really like this one. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy for my own like education seeing the blanks unraveled. It's just a lot of fun. And goodness, I should even think if I need to do Sock Blank Special 3. I haven't planned out like special weeks and special series for this year yet, besides like beginning thoughts for the 2019 Hanukkah sampler. Yay for more samplers. So much fun to watch. I mean, I really enjoyed how, it was just it was just so much fun. I also hope to do more premieres through YouTube this year. When that happens, basically, it's just the first time the video comes out, it makes a live chat room. So then I can hang out in the way I've been doing it right now is I can hang out in the chat room with all of you so we can watch the video together and I can give my take, answer questions and stuff, which is both freaky because it's weird for me to watch my videos myself on the big screen, but also a lot of fun because I really enjoy, just in general, I like hanging out in the chat rooms of live streams and chatting with people just anyway. And so it's really fun for me to get to be in the chat room with all of you because obviously that's not something I can do on these live streams. Oh gosh, this is so cute. So when I was doing the January ChemKnits Dialogue, apparently Lucas was watching, well, Keith was watching because I realized at one point when I heard a timer go off, I heard it then on a delay go off upstairs. I was like, are you watching? Apparently Lucas was watching it earlier too. And he sent me the cutest little email. He really wanted to put it in the chat, but Keith wouldn't let him, which is probably a good thing. But it's like, I had no idea that he was watching and he was so excited to just watch me work. And like, Lucas has been involved in the videos and he loves to dye yarn with me. So he's done that with me, but I don't think, and he's certainly seen me on the screen and he's watched my videos before, but I don't think he's ever like seen the live stream before. And so I think that it was really cool for him to be like watching me on the computer, knowing that that's what I was doing downstairs. He really enjoyed that window into it. But yeah, you guys can just see how effortless, although of course I say that and then I hit a little snag. It is just so, oh, Lorelai, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And hooray for women in business too. If some of you guys are curious, that bright, awesome box popped up is a super chat. There's a little dollar symbol at the bottom of your screen. It's like a little tip jar. Yeah, and I think dyeing yarn is actually a really fun way to get kids involved with the craft of knitting and fiber arts in general before they have the dexterity or the patience to learn how to knit. Some kids definitely have patience to learn to knit really early on. I don't think Lucas, he might be able to do a loom and he might enjoy doing loom knitting at some point. I'm glad you appreciate that, Ada. I think Lucas might be able to do a loom, but he loves and is so proud when he helps dye yarn and then he's wearing a hat and he dyed the yarn, and it's so fun to be able to tell, for him to be able to like tell his teachers or his friends that he helped make that. And it's really, really fun. And with food coloring and stuff, it's safe for the kids to take part in it. And yeah, it's just awesome. Of course, he's really waiting for it to be warm so we can do the squirt guns again. Although maybe later this week, if there's still this sheet of ice on the ground, I could let us lay some yarn on top of that and then bring out some squirt guns to dye the yarn that way. So he really, really enjoyed that technique. I mean, I did too, but that one he is still talking about. But anyway, here is how that blank unraveled. And I'm going to come in really close so you guys can see. So there are definite color changes. There's a definite gradient, but it's fairly subtle. So overall, there's this pink holding it together, but then, you know, we've got yellow down at one end, orange in the middle, some greens and blues throughout. And it's just a really, really unique yarn. And I don't think that anyone would really be able to create something like this without using a blank. I suppose you could speckle portions on like mini skeins and create something, but using a blank is such a unique way to dye the yarn. And then what? Unraveling this took maybe, you know, okay, I guess this string's been going on for 25 minutes, but it really did not take that much time. So if you're doing this on your own, you know, it's certainly, of all the techniques I've done, this is one where I'd say it's totally worth it. Now, you don't have to unravel a blank before you use it. You could knit directly from the blank. So instead of unraveling it, I could have picked up those two ends, cast on 2 at a time socks, and just started knitting, which is also a really, really fun way to use these blanks. I just know that some people prefer to do 1 at a time. And I mean, unraveling it gives you a sense, you now have a better sense of, ooh, what might this look like on socks? Because you can see sort of how these colors progress. Yeah, and or crochet. You don't have to knit with it. You could do 2 at a time. Can you? Yeah, you could do 2 at a time crochet socks or something. I guess it would be a little harder. No, you could do a round and then swap and do a round, maybe with 2 hooks. It would be like a little different than like having a magic loop or something, but still pretty fun. Yeah, so this was just a fun project, and this is one of the reasons why I want to spread out the Hanukkah sampler this year. And that's because while I was filming it, because I was giving people these surprise samplers, I didn't want to give any spoilers. And so I couldn't really share sneak peeks while I was working on it. And that was really, really hard. I love to share sneak peeks for like patrons or on Instagram. Oh, crochet socks are best to do 2 at a time to keep your gauge nice and easy. Oh, perfect. That's great to know. Thank you. Yeah, so I couldn't show spoilers there. So that's why I'm like, oh, if I spread it out more and start earlier, plus if I start earlier, then, I mean, I'm not going to do it this time, but if I start planning it out, I could bring some like snow dyeing into it, which is then very appropriate for a December special. In the 2018 Hanukkah special, I started off with some sun dyeing because it was August and really hot. So there is some like seasonal aspect to what I'm doing, and sometimes things come out a lot later after I do them. But yeah, if you guys follow me, I'm just at ChemKnits on Instagram, and on Facebook, I'm just facebook.com/ChemKnits. I'll frequently share something that I am working on sort of in the moment. And, well, actually, you guys want a little sneak peek? Like, how can I do this without showing off my messy, messy house? Eek. Okay, you'll just see my messy floor. Da-da-da-da! We're about an hour and a half in, and this is the yarn that Lucas actually sort of designed. You can see just how much like sheets that snow is. Ooh, I am getting some color down below. Let's see. Ooh, look, you got, that looks like purple right there. That's cool. It looks like the blue is sort of going through. But we are finally getting some drips, which is great. I have the space heater in here. Oh, that feels good because I'm hoping it'll melt before they get home from school. But let me show more mess, but this is the colorway that Lucas designed when he drew this little picture for me. So, so much fun. So much fun. But that picture gave me the inspiration for this yarn. Yeah, so that's a little real-time sneak peek and, oh, my open closet. My messy house. My really, really messy house. Sometimes people ask how I do it all and like, you know, do like the mom stuff and keep my house clean. And I'm like, who said my house is clean? Because if there's something that gets, we let slide a bit, it's the clutter. Because, yeah, there's only so much time. But what else can I show you guys? All right, so I showed this in one of the last live streams. This I knit many years ago, the Color Affection shawl. But I'm working on a new one using some Mad Tosh Merino Light. Ooh. And I've just started the 3-color portion up there. And so I'm really excited. The contrast, since I bought the colors online, it was a little hard to pick the contrast of the purple. So actually the striping isn't showing up very well there, but I think that the teal is going to give it sort of like a nice pop at the end. But that's something I'm working on because I realized I should finish that up and then I can go back to doing some more projects with my hand-dyed yarn. It's hard sometimes because I have a huge yarn stash, not just of like my own hand-dyed, but stuff that I had been collecting. And then like I get stuff from like Knit Crate and other sources too. So it's really hard to decide like, oh, should I knit with some of my hand spun or something that I hand dyed because I know people want to see that, or something else that I have in my stash. And so it's hard to sort of prioritize and figure out the projects sometimes, but it's fun. And I don't know, I love what I do. And so thank you to everyone who allows me. You guys allow me, and by watching and liking these videos and participating, you let me keep doing what I truly, truly love to do. And I am just really, really grateful. And we have a lot of fun. At least I think so, right? Oh man. But anyway, I'm glad that I finally unraveled this because now I can finish up that video, which means I'll be able to share it sooner. Aw, thank you. Oh, that's hard for kids to go to school without like sufficient hats and stuff. That it's really great to be sending that. Oh gosh, yeah. I used to knit. There's an organization called Pine Street Inn in Boston, and they would deal with setting up like transitional housing for people who are homeless. And so they would have, and I'm not sure, I need to see if they still do it, a knit-a-thon every year with 12-inch squares to make Afghans to sort of set up in the homes so that way there'd be something that didn't feel like just sterile and new. And so I used to do a lot of those until I ran out of yarn for it. And then I was like, okay, it made more sense for me to donate yarn, or not to donate money versus buy the yarn and spend the time. But I would like to start doing some more of that again, or at least like promoting some of those things. So feel free to let me know about like different knitting causes and stuff. And I can certainly try to help spread the word about them. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really like these like calm moments, and it's really nice doing something like this because I can really like respond to questions and chat and sit and pay attention versus sometimes when I'm dyeing the yarn, like I'm not able to like see as many comments as they come in. When you're buying yarn at stores like Walmart or Joann's, how can you tell the fingering weight from others? So yarn will always be labeled with a with the weight that it is, with the size that it is. And so a lot of times if something is labeled as sock yarn, then it will be fingering weight. But there are like other designations, and I guess it would be best to do like a quick Google search, but they have like medium, light, or fine. There's other designations that some of that means. I'm just trying to think, do I have, I don't know if I have any Lion brand around, but a lot of time it should say if it's bulky or what. I think a lot of the yarn that you find in big box stores tends to be worsted weight or bulky. But it will sort of like on the label say the size that it is. If it's fingering sport DK, worsted, and or bulky or chunky. And there's some good, I'll try to find like a designation on that, and I'll drop a link in the video comments right after I sign off to help with that. But yeah, pretty. All right, guys, I'm gonna head off and I'm gonna go do some editing. I've been doing so much filming that I have a huge editing queue, which is great, but I also have to like sit down and do it. It's fun to procrastinate by doing more filming, but that only makes the editing queue longer and longer. So, you know, yes, that's helpful. Fingering weight is usually around like, fingering weight is frequently between like 350 and 450 yards per 100 grams, depending on the twist. And oh no, I missed some. Yes, I hope that you guys all have a really, really wonderful day, and hopefully everything will be thawed in the house. So maybe on Friday I'll be able to do some live dyeing. We'll see. I was hoping to do that today, but my tub upstairs still has a frozen drain. The dishwasher's working again though, so that's good. We heard it pass those ice chunks last night from the drain. Oh dear. Cold weather, but it's supposed to be in the 40s today, so things should thaw, which is great. So anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic, fantastic day, and I will chat with all of you soon.